Well, hi there, soccer fans, and welcome to another week of Onside, where we're going to be giving you all the information as far as the weekend fixtures are concerned. And Alex Budgie Byrne in the studio again, Budge, and it's been a phenomenal week since last week because the headlines is Claudio Ranieri, obviously.
Shame, for him, but for the owners, I think the decision was right. I think the players put the knife into him. No doubt about that. You saw the performance against Liverpool, but in my opinion,
why would they have done that? When you think of the heights that the man's got to, and on top of that, you're still in the Champions League with a chance against Seville. Why would the players do that? He's done so well with them. He's made guys who were nobodies into heroes.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I was on one of the newspapers in Leicester, and they said there was a split between Ranieri and the assistant manager, Craig Shakespeare. So there were rumblings there, and obviously he's been there a lot longer than Ranieri, and he's got the players' ear. And just seeing some of his antics during the game, winking at the players, there's definitely the players, in my opinion, put the knife into him.
And you know what was absolutely phenomenal about, never mind the result that they ended up beating Liverpool, but that Ranieri has turned around and he got his bonus was £3 million or whatever, and he's given half of that to the Foxes. What do they call it? Development League or something. Yeah. Now that shows what type of man.
No, he's a classy man. You heard Mourinho come out. There's not one person come out and said a bad word about him. So sad, but for the club, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, really sad. These things have got to happen as well. As far as other soccer games of importance, I see your team won, but my goodness gracious, I was very upset for Southampton on that first disallowed goal, because this is the problem with this whole situation where if a player's not in the play and he's offsides, he doesn't get affected. I think it's a bad rule.
For me, they've got to go back to the old rule. If you're offside, you're offside.
You're offside, yeah.
It's just hard. Is he interfering? Is he not? And, I've been in a lot of games and I've sat on that side where the linesman is. You've got to keep an eye where the player's passing the ball and you're always in line with the last defender. And the angles and the time is too difficult. It was a goal, legit goal, but I can see why he disallowed it.
Well, he saw the two guys running. You might have seen the wrong guy running.
Wrong guy,
I remember discussing this with you when Arsenal had a goal scored against them. The guy was blatantly offside, so the guy came in near post and scored. And I said to you, maybe the goalkeeper gets put off by the guy that's come in and taken some space.
It was a Man City game, Sterling's goal.
Yeah.
If you're offside, to me, you should blow it.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Makes it much easier, doesn't it?
Easier, especially for the linesman.
Yeah.
He's going to be ridiculed forever.
Huddersfield, Manchester City.
Yeah, they made a few changes. I didn't watch much of it. I was watching Real Madrid. But they were 1-0 down. I couldn't believe it. I was following the scores. But once Aguero, he looked sharp last night. It was always going to be one winner.
Let's go to the league now and see what it looks like as far as the league's concerned. Are the Chelsea...
10 points clear, 12 games to go. I think this weekend's a tough game for them. A bitter rivalry. I was in the train going back to Manchester from West Ham a couple of years ago. And we spoke to one of the West Ham supporters and we said, what team do you really dislike? And he said, since that fat Frank Lampard has gone to Chelsea, we hate them. And he says, no, it's bitter. There was trouble in the League Cup at the Olympic Stadium early on in the year when West Ham knocked them out. This will be a game and a half Monday night, But you've got to fancy Chelsea to win it. Yeah,
they look like the right ones. And to me, only Spurs are any team with a chance. So they've got to win all their games.
Since Man City changed the goalkeeper, they put Willie Caballero in instead of Costa Brava. They've won the last 5 games with him. Yeah. They have everybody to play. They've got Chelsea to play at Stamford Bridge. I thought Spurs would have a good run in the Europa League, but they choke as usual in Europe. So I think I agree with you, because they've got a good home run. So you'd expect them to be, especially with Man City being in Europe.
Okay, well, you're a bit stiff in the Soccer 13 last week.
Crikey, Newcastle, couldn't believe it. Yeah. The worst thing is the team that they drew with Bristol City are the worst formed team in England. They've only won one of the last 15 games and ended up drawing at Newcastle. Yeah. And to make matters worse, I took a bet with Brighton in midweek. And who came to beat them? Newcastle. Yeah. So,
but to get 12 out of 13...
No, we made money, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for the small outlay is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's a good achievement, but the 100,000 would have been nicer. Yeah.
Okay, so shall we have a look at our games and see what we've got this week and where we kick off with Manchester United Bournemouth?
Yeah, the way we're going, James, should be a comfortable victory. The only thing is I'm always a bit sceptical of lunchtime kickoffs. We've had a week to prepare, so there should be no excuses here.
And you certainly, he seems to have got the team more or less where he wants it.
They're now playing his type of style. The only thing he's looking for now, I think, is a central midfield player.
Yeah.
Now, you saw he went to Carrick as a middle three, but against Bournemouth, who've conceded 20 goals in the last 7 games, should be a comfortable victory.
What interests me is that I know that we were looking at your striker for a long time, a couple of years ago, and I know that Wenger said, no, he's too old and this and that and the other. He has shown that I think he's played more games than any other player in the league this year. Yeah,
you got a lot of these players play with their heart and Duracell batteries. They run. They don't know where they're going. He plays in between the boxes, and no, he's a class act. He always has been. So,
Okay, so shall we have a look at our games and see what we've got this week and where we kick off with Manchester United Bournemouth?
Yeah, the way we're going, James, should be a comfortable victory. The only thing is I'm always a bit sceptical of lunchtime kickoffs. We've had a week to prepare, so there should be no excuses here.
And you certainly, he seems to have got the team more or less where he wants it.
They're now playing his type of style. The only thing he's looking for now, I think, is a central midfield player.
Yeah.
Now, you saw he went to Carrick as a middle three, but against Bournemouth, who've conceded 20 goals in the last 7 games, should be a comfortable victory.
What interests me is that I know that we were looking at your striker for a long time, a couple of years ago, and I know that Wenger said, no, he's too old and this and that and the other. He has shown that I think he's played more games than any other player in the league this year. Yeah,
you got a lot of these players play with their heart and Duracell batteries. They run. They don't know where they're going. He plays in between the boxes, and no, he's a class act. He always has been.
Okay, Leicester, Hull. Well, you've got to fancy Leicester too.
Well, 8-10, that's one of my bets of the weekend. It has to be, The players, what was interesting, I stayed up till about 12:15 the other night, and the interviewer got hold of Drinkwater and Vardy, and his first question to Vardy was, I see you've done more sprints in this game than you've done the rest of the season. And they were silent. And there's going to be another reaction. I think comfortable victory.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually watched the interview as well. In fact, all their statistics were far better than the whole season.
Yeah.
And Vardy, to me, he's really gone down in my estimation because of this. Because really, there's no doubt Ranieri made him. He would have been battling in the second league.
Well, he came from Fleetwood.
Yeah.
They were an amateur team when he was playing there, and they went through the leagues. But also, Liverpool were disgraceful. What that Jurgen Klopp's doing, playing Lucas at centre half. Jury's slowly coming out on Klopp,
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of time to go this season.
I've got 2 brothers that support Liverpool, and they're very quiet at the moment.
They said, I got a text saying they've run out of airtime, all the Liverpool supporters after the game. Right, Stoke, Middlesbrough.
Stoke, hard to beat at home. Middlesbrough can't score goals. They haven't won in 9. They don't look like scoring a goal, and they've signed a few strikers. The manager, Karanka, was Mourinho's assistant at Real Madrid. He's just a negative manager. They've got to have to go for it, but Stoke City were poor against Tottenham.
They were useless against you.
Yeah, they looked like a relegation team. But at home, hard to beat there. I fancy Stoke.
Yeah, I think you'll get the draw, because I think that you're going to find that Middlesbrough are going to park the bus at the back.
Can't afford to, James.
Well, I think they'd rather have a draw than a loss in this game. As you say, the manager is negative. Swansea, Burnley?
This will be a good game. I like Paul Clement. Since he's taken over, they've played 7 league games. They've won 4. The teams that have beat them. Chelsea had to work hard. Man City scored an injury time, and Arsenal beat them. You got to fancy Swansea. Now, Burnley have got the worst away record in the league. They've only taken 2 points. They drew at Hull last week, and they drew at Old Trafford, believe it or not. They're just on the outskirts of it, Burnley. And at home, they've got great form. But I think this is going to be a struggle. This is going to be no game you want to watch. This is going to be a physical game.
Yeah, I would think Swansea would be a bet.
I watch Burnley are one of those funny teams you don't want to play against. I know they're desperate, and they don't score many goals away from home, but I wouldn't really like to play against. If you've got to fancy Swansea are the two teams.
Yeah.
If you bank them, I've thrown the draw in this one.
Okay. West Brom, Crystal Palace.
You know, everyone's going to jump down West Brom's, for throats because of their home record. They won 7. The only team that's beat them in the last 8's Man United. I saw something in Crystal Palace last week. I know they only beat Middlesbrough 1-0, but they seem to have a little bit of togetherness about them.
Crystal Palace played well last week.
You know, they've got really players. Well. You know, that's Sahar, Benteke. They've got Townsend, Kabai. They're going to cause West Brom problems. The only thing I worry about them is defensively they aren't too good. But if there is one game that wouldn't surprise me that's the upset of the weekend, that's the one.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed out Watford, Southampton.
Yeah, shame. You know, you got to feel for Southampton.
You really
you got to fancy them with the two teams. Watford are one of those physical teams, plenty of spirit. At home, they'll be hard to beat. But I like Southampton in this game.
All right, then we go to the big one, Liverpool-Arsenal.
Desperation game for both of them, Paul. You know, Liverpool don't get beat at home too often. I know the Swansea fans, the two that I know, will be saying, but we beat them 3-2. But I don't know what he's going to do at the back. You know,
he's got a big problem, hasn't he?
You know, Matip, I don't know. A lot of Liverpool guys like him. Jury's still out for me. He can't play Lucas there. He's got Claven. I don't know what's going on at Liverpool defensively, you know. And one thing Arsenal have got, they've got quick forwards. I think this is going to be another humdinger.
Well, the point is, if we can get him behind them, we should score goals if they've been practicing during the week. But I've seen Giroud and our boy on the wing, almost from anywhere. Yeah. If Sanchez is on form and he's passing the ball well,
you know, Arsenal have had a long break as well.
Yeah. Well, so hopefully they've been practicing instead of...
so they should all be fresh. There's no excuses for Arsenal, but their record against the top teams away from home is appalling.
Appalling, yeah. Very, very difficult. So you wouldn't have a bet in the game?
Well, I've gone high on goals. I think there's going to be a 2-2. Any result wouldn't surprise me in this game.
No doubt. I think there'll be more than 4 goals in the game. Right, Tottenham-Everton. Big game for Tottenham.
Everton are going well. They're unbeaten in 9. Terrible record at White Hart Lane. I like Tottenham. Since they got knocked out of Europe, week to prepare, I think Tottenham will be too good for them.
Good. Sunderland, Man City. Tough game for Man City, isn't it?
You know, Man City are one of these teams. They'll play all the skillful players, give Sunderland the ball, take it off them, catch them on the counter-attack. I think there'll be goals in this game. There's always goals in Man City's games. You know, Sunderland have to go for it. Bottom of the league.
No value at 3-10.
No, you can't. It's goals. I went both teams to score here.
Okay. Then we go West Ham, Chelsea, as you discussed.
This is going to be a humdinger. You know, Carroll will be fit for this. This is going to be rollerball. You've got to fancy Chelsea, obviously. They've got the metal pedigree. They've got the experience. But a draw wouldn't surprise me in this game, yeah.
Okay, well, now we move on to the PSL, and there have been some shenanigans going on here. My team, Pirates, are not going so well. I'm a bit worried about them.
Well, they've even signed a coach. Oh, no.
The table, just talking about the table quickly, SuperSport at the top.
Yeah.
But Cape Town City right on top of them and played one more game. So, they're playing well.
Yeah,
and they're hard to beat at home.
No. Good team, He's done a good job, Eric Tinkler.
Yeah. Well, he's always been a great coach. Wits,
they got beat by Sundowns last week. But better, obviously outplayed a little bit, but they're still there.
Yeah, Chief supporters under a bit of pressure?
Well, they're unbeaten in the last 7. They're going well, but it was a bad result in Cape Town against Ajax. They've got the derby this week, but they are the favourites.
And down at the bottom, is Morocco going to go down again?
Looks like it. You know, and Gordon's team, Highlands, they just can't keep a clean sheet. You know, they're struggling, and, they're slowly but surely, it was 1 point, now it's 4. And they've got a crucial game this week, Highlands. They get beat, Gordon's in serious trouble.
And there was a power failure during the week.
Yeah, Tuesday night, shame. They came back and played it at 10 o'clock yesterday, ended 0-0.
Yeah. Okay, let's go and have a look at what we've got as far as the South African teams are concerned. We've got Wits against Bloemfontein Celtic.
Should be, Celtic can't score goals, are the league's lowest scorers. While they're always competitive, if you're looking at taping a few trebles, I would put Wits in them. I know 6 or 10 may be short for some teams, but I like Wits, good team, especially at home.
Definitely. Cape Town City, Sundowns.
Sure, this will be a cracker of a game. Sundowns CAF Cup champions, they won the Super Cup. You've got to fancy Sundowns. The only thing is, the last time they played in Cape Town, they got beat by Ajax.
I think they'll get beat by Cape Town as well. In Cape Town.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah. Platinum Stars chipper.
Team that worst home record, Platinum Stars, against a team that can't win away from home. So the draw's a player, but I won't be having a bet in that. But it's a field job in the exotics. But I'd have a bet on the draw if I was having a bet.
Okay, would you like to go to the Soweto Derby?
I'd love to go, I think it's one of the few derbies in the world where the fans sit amongst each other.
Yes.
FNB Stadium, 90,000. And it's great. I've been to Moses Mabhida. It was the last game of the season where Pirates Chiefs were playing and all the Pirates fans were there. And they had to win the league. And they scored a goal. And I couldn't understand. The Pirates fans were jumping up and down because obviously they were following on the radio.
They got great respect for each other, those two sets of fans, whereas fans all over the world hate each other. The Pirates, and it seems to be an African thing where, you can respect your enemy. And that's
at the end of the day, everybody loves football, but some people go there looking for trouble.
Yeah,
especially in Europe and all over the world. But our fans are great.
Okay, we got Arrows and Maritzburg.
Local derby, obviously. Arrows have only won 1 in 10. Maritzburg under Roger Desar.
They've improved.
They slowly. They're only, I think, 2 points behind Arrows. Hard game, draw a big player.
Supersport Cape Town. This should be
the banker of the weekend. Supersport unbeaten the last 17 league games. Ajax, struggling at the moment. Haven't won this year. They've drawn the last 2 games, but Supersport in good form. They look good things.
Well, these teams at the top are looking to get as many points as they can, again, wherever they can. So you'd think that you could have a bet on them. Supersport might be worth taking the double.
You throw them into your accumulators.
Supersport look like a good double for the weekend to get some money. Free State Stars Highlands.
Yeah, I like Free State Stars at home. 3-3. I was telling the laugh last week. They played Supersport at home. It was a Barcelona move. There were 5 or 6 1-2s. The guy rolled it across the small box. The keeper was nowhere, and he hit the crossbar. He was already celebrating. They totally outplayed Supersport. So they're at home. I think even money's a good bet against Highlands. Can't keep a clean sheet, Highlands.
Add them into your treble.
Yeah,
that's PSL the treble for me. Yeah, the PSL treble. Polokwane, Baraka.
Local derby. Baraka struggling. Looks like they're going down. They've only got 3 points the last 10 games. Polokwane, good team. I like watching them. They gung ho. They have a go. They should be.
And they're at home as well.
They're at home, but it's a local derby, so. I'm skeptical of them. Yeah.
Well, I think that we've got 3 or 4 all-to-comes.
Oh, no doubt.
Out of the way you've summed it up, Budge, and I think we're going to get the money this weekend. Let's go and have a look at the Soccer 6. We're going to kick off with that.
Yeah, it's a customary 2-1-6. I don't see Chiefs beating Pirates. I know local derbies throw up a lot of results. So I've gone Chiefs in the draw. Borussia Dortmund at home are a good side. Leverkusen don't travel well. Now, Bayern Munich, I watched them last night. I think they'll win the Champions League. They're 28-10. They beat Schalke, who aren't a bad team. The players they've got on the bench, crikey. Only thing is, Cologne, known as the Billy Goats for their smell, they're unbeaten at home this week. And I'm always sceptical about the top teams, especially Bayern Munich. They play Arsenal on Tuesday. I know they're 5-1 up from the first leg, but they want to put on a show against Arsenal. They're going to rotate players. They've thrown the draw in as a precaution. Some people may want to say, no, hang on, I'd rather bank a Bayern Munich, spend 108 Rand, or put the draw with Dortmund or one of the others. But I'm going to take a chance and throw the draw and look to beat Bayern there. The Golden Arrows, Maritzburg, local derby, tough. Borussia Mönchengladbach, Schalke, they're both in the last 16 of the Europa League. Questionable games. And I bank at Supersport. I think they'll be too good for Ajax.
It looks like one of those Soccer 6s where you could get a bit of money if you get the right result.
You beat Bayern. The Chiefs-Pirates game, 4 of the last 7 games have ended in draws. The way Pirates are going, they can't beat Chiefs on current form. But, derbies are derbies, You've got 40-odd thousand fans there. They'll be expecting improvement.
I think I'm a Pirates supporter, but I think Chiefs are going to give us a workover. That's the way I see it, unfortunately. We're going to move on to the next Soccer 6 and see what we got here. This is a better one.
Well, this is I think Leicester will be too good for Hull. As much as the world wants Leicester to go down, I just don't see it. I think Stoke will have too much for Middlesbrough. Swansea, I've thrown the draw in with Burnley. I know a few people may throw the draw in with Stoke City and bank a Swansea. I don't see Southampton getting beat at Watford, especially the way they played last week. I've got the 2 fields, West Brom Palace. That's the game I've gone for the smash. And Liverpool Arsenal, nothing would surprise me with those 2 defences. So that's the Soccer 6, James.
Okay. Now what we got next? We got
Soccer 10.
Soccer 10, right?
Well, obviously some of the same. I've banked Leicester to beat Hull City. Now Brighton, who cost me my treble in midweek, they were 1-0 up against Newcastle. They had chance after chance, conceded 2 goals in the last 10 to get beat. They second. The boys are slowly catching up from underneath, especially Huddersfield. I think they'll be too good for Notts Forest. Hot and cold team Forest. They've only taken 1 point last 4 games. Big game for Brighton, but they are a good team. Rotherham, the worst team in the Championship. I think they're like 17 points from safety. Now, Steve Bruce's team, Aston Villa, they've won the last 2 games, though.
But they haven't played well this season.
They beat Derby in midweek. They beat Bristol City the last 2 games. It's do or die now for Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of goals in this game. I think Aston Villa will beat them.
Okay.
Cardiff, they've won 7 of the last 11 games. They're the form team in that league. QPR, always competitive, but at home they're struggling. So I've gone Cardiff in the draw. I've banked Stoke to beat Middlesbrough.
Okay, then we move on to
Second
the next.
page, I've gone Swansea win and draw against Burnley. I don't see Southampton losing at Watford. I've gone the 3 fields, West Brom Palace, Huddersfield Newcastle, which is first against third, and the field with Liverpool Arsenal, 4:32.
What I've noticed, which I don't know if it's right or not, but certainly in the Division 1, a lot of draws in those games, draws, and the draws seem to make a good payout.
Yeah.
So you want to really have a close look at the draws. I think that those teams are on tenterhooks, and a lot of teams play quite
a lot of
negatively.
pressure. It's all about not getting beat.
Okay, let's go and have a look. We've got the Soccer 13.
Yeah, Soccer 13.
And this is always the game.
Yeah,
is this a big pool this weekend?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it. There was a
15
pool
million
there was a
million.
pool on Wednesday. There's a carryover on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I haven't seen I don't think so, but you never know.
Okay.
I've given Liverpool hard to beat at home. I've gone Liverpool in the draw against Arsenal. I've banked Leicester to beat Hull, Stoke to beat Middlesbrough, Swansea win and draw against Burnley. Because I needed another banker, I've gone for Southampton to beat Watford.
Okay.
I've gone West Brom in the draw against Palace. Now Blackburn Wigan, it's a local derby. Blackburn, they played well against Man United in the Cup, even though they got beat. They sacked the manager a week after they got beat by United, and they won in midweek. So I think they've got a great shot against Wigan, who have got a better record away from home than at home, purely because they play on the same pitch as the Wigan rugby league team. It's a mud heap.
Yeah.
So a close game, but of the 2 teams I like Blackburn. Bristol City are the worst formed team in England, who came and haunted us last week, but they've only won 1 out of the last 15. It's a desperation game, this. Burton...
So you're going against them.
I'm going... It's a 1-2-3 game, James, but because of the perm, I've given... This will be an upset. I think Burton will get at least a draw there. Derby, Barnsley, likewise. Derby won 2 out of the last 11. They were real contenders to go up.
They were flying, weren't they?
But the wheels have come off lately. Now Barnsley have got the 5th best away record, They've won 4 out of the last 6 away from home, going well. So the pressure's off them, so I'm going Barnsley in the draw. Now some people may bank a Fulham, I won't, but Fulham, good team at home.
Why won't you bank a Fulham?
Because
is it
Preston...
because of the way you support
Well,
Preston?
since we should have beat Arsenal and we've lost. We've only lost 1 out of the last 11, and that was at Cardiff.
Yeah.
So we've been competitive of late. We got the guy McGeady on loan from Everton. He's playing. We signed a kid from Dundalk. And we've come well of late. We're playing well. We're scoring goals. We're under pressure here, no doubt. But our perm allows us to take another banker. If you want to halve your perm, well, banker Fulham, But I'm going to put the draw in. I've gone Huddersfield in the draw against Newcastle. Now, I know they got beat 4-1 by Man City last night. But they made a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Newcastle, I thought, were lucky against Brighton. The goalkeeper kept them in it he made 4 or 5 good saves. And if they give the chances to Huddersfield to be in trouble, I think Brighton will be too good for Notts Forest. And Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich. Now, Sheffield Wednesday, they've got a good record at home. And Norwich, they've won 1 out of the last 11. Now, they've come well, Norwich, but they can't win away from home. Yeah. So of the 2 teams, I like Sheffield Wednesday.
Okay. 5 bankers, 8 wins and draws, the usual 400. This week we're going to catch us. Going 13 out of 13 this week. Last week 12 out of 13. Let me tell you, when you start getting close, that's when you start catching these things. Right, we've got a couple of bets, Budgie's best bets.
We've got 6 bets. We've thrown the international sixer who killed us last week. One up to the last 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
nearly puked. But anyway, what can we do, you know?
That's why we bet on sport, because
Yeah,
it's
of
such
course.
fun, you know.
Yeah. Fun. She's hard taker, isn't it? But fun.
Well,
but,
you got to have a go. That's
yeah,
what it's all
you're
about.
right. No
Okay,
doubt.
the English treble.
Yeah, I've gone Leicester to beat Hull City. I think Stoke will be too good for Middlesbrough. And I've gone Reading to beat Wolves. You know, they've had a couple of bad results lately, Reading, but it's all been away from home. At home, they're hard to beat, and they were 12-10 to beat Wolves. So the treble works out at 7-1.
Yeah.
I like what I saw there.
This is your game.
Yeah.
Both teams to score. This is where we get the money every week.
You know, and guys miss penalties to stick you out. There's nothing worse. But no, it's just if you're a neutral, it's a good bet. You know, I've gone Watford, Southampton. I've gone Liverpool, Arsenal. Sunderland, Man City. Some people may query that, but Sunderland have got to go for it. And Man City defensively aren't too good. And I think West Ham, Chelsea on Monday will be fireworks. You know, that's 18-20 to 200. Yeah,
that's a lovely bet. Right, match bet. Both teams to score.
Yeah. Now the match bet is Tottenham have to beat Everton and Aston Villa have to beat Rotherham, and all 4 teams must score. Okay. So it's got to be 2-1 or more on both the games. That worked out 11.5 to 1. You know, 2,300 to 200.
It's another great
it's
strike,
a bet that a lot of people aren't really aware of. You know, but Track and Ball, who sponsor us, they highlight that bet, and I like it.
I think it's a fantastic bet, and nice to have Track and Ball on sides with us. You know, on side being
lads,
the operative word.
Yep.
Well done to them.
Yeah.
And then we got
the over 3.5 treble.
That's a hard.
Of course it is, but are you trying to tell me Liverpool, Arsenal won't be goals?
No, I think the Liverpool, Arsenal will be at least 4
You know,
goals.
I think it was 18-10 that bet over 3.5 goals. You know, Barcelona, Celta Vigo, since Barcelona fired the manager, 6 last night, Celta Vigo have a full go.
Yeah.
So that'll be a 4-1 game. And Monaco, Nantes, you know, Monaco, the highest scorers team in Europe.
Yeah.
Top of the league.
They played very well last week, I think, Champions League.
Yeah, it was against Man City, 2-1 up.
Very unlucky.
My boy Falcao tried to be clever with a penalty.
Yeah.
And
that was, I'm sure, one of the worst penalties this season.
I don't think it would have hit the net if it...
I don't think it would have got across the line.
It's terrible, yeah. And he scored the chip too. But, I just thought over 3.5. It's a different bet for people. The 2.5, they're shaving the odds now. Yeah. So the 3.5 is a nice option, especially with teams that are attack-minded and have to go for it, yeah.
Spanish quartet.
Yep.
I like the thought of a Spanish quartet. You know? Mucho gusto.
Yeah, I looked at the prices and I wasn't putting Barcelona in at 1-6 and so on. So I like Atletico Bilbao. They're the only team in Spain that play players from their own province, the Basques. Yeah, they're playing Malaga, who are poor away from home. I've gone both teams to score, Barcelona and Celta Vigo, and the Eibar Real Madrid games. And I've gone over 2.5, and my boys Las Palmas, who were burgled last night in Osasuna, 18-20 to 200, So
okay, and the Sixer
Nixa, yep. I've gone Leicester to beat Hull. I've gone Hoffenheim to beat Ingolstadt, who are a poor team. Werder Bremen to beat Darmstadt, the worst team in the Bundesliga. I've gone Juventus to beat Udinese, Sampdoria to beat Pescara, and Monaco to beat Nantes. So the guys that love their international, that's 18.5 to 1. I thought.
It's a lovely all to come.
Yeah, it's
things hotting up this weekend. It's
going
to be
pressure. And next week's the Champions League and the Europa League, and then the FA Cup. So it's hotting up.
Okay, FA Cup. What's your long-term
prediction? I like Spurs to win it.
Yeah.
I know it won't suit you, and maybe I'll put Zlaf won't back them. He's not staunch enough, but they've got Millwall in the next round. They'll beat them. I think they're the only team that can beat Chelsea.
Yeah. And certainly they look like the only team that. And Chelsea, do you think they'll be the finalists, other finalists?
Well, if they draw apart, Man City, I think will get through with Monaco, then Champions League, so he'll mix and match his teams. But Arsenal got to beat Lincoln, haven't they?
Well, they might go for the draw, and so they can have another bonanza.
Well, there was an interesting stat I saw the other day. The last 5 league-winning managers never saw the year out the season after.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Ranieri won last year.
Yeah.
Mourinho won the year before. Pellegrini won at Man City. He didn't see the year out because Guardiola was coming. Ferguson won it and he retired. And Mancini won it the year before and he got fired.
That's absolutely amazing.
Well, that's why Wenger doesn't want to win the league.
It's an amazing statistic. Wenger's hanging on for dear life. I think that's a job that he needs. Why doesn't he just retire and go and live in the French Riviera, which is what he should
money.
do?
He must be on profit share.
He must be worth more than the Bank of England.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to go to loser. And unfortunately, I think he's going to have to.
Yeah. I would think he's going to have to too, unfortunately. Well, as usual, Budgie, thank you very much. It's been a wonderful show, and certainly some wonderful bets. I think there's some real opportunities this week. And as we say, Track and Ball are with us. They're our new people, and get busy with them. Get your Track and Ball account and speak to Peric Marjan, isn't he?
Steve Marshall,
Steve Marshall,
taking
over.
Charge,
You can give them a call, get yourself sorted out, and get your soccer bets on. We're looking forward to a great weekend.